I've recently purchased the Mamiya RZ67 Pro 2 and I'm going to show you some images I've shot on it so far, as well as kind of give you my first impressions of the camera too. I've actually been using the 645 film back on it. I don't have the 6x7 yet, which I ordered as well. But yeah, the images you're going to see are from the 645 back. As you may already know, it's quite a heavy setup. I found it quite difficult to maneuver around, and kind of the ergonomics weren't really made for the run and gun shooting I'm used to. But in saying that, this allowed me to slow down my process even more, and then take more patience when it comes to composing the shot, making sure I had the right settings and looking for really good light. The first set of images that I shot with the camera were in Sanford Valley. I used the app on my phone for the light meter. It worked pretty well. There were some shots weren't precisely the right exposure, but I think overall it performed pretty well. I did make a mistake when I was turning the film back to the landscape orientation, and I accidentally opened the film back, and then there were a few light leaks on some of the shots, which wasn't too desirable, but I think one of them came out okay out of that lot. This is why I'm glad I tested it out before I shot anything too serious. I think lens compression is always a term that's used in connection with medium format photography, and you can definitely see it working its magic in this shot of my dog, which I quite liked. This is probably my favourite shot from the camera so far. I've always actually been more swayed towards SLR cameras. I think I like that what you see in the viewfinder is what you normally get. Rangefinders can be a little bit more tricky. You don't always know what you're going to get in the final version of the shot. I've used one rangefinder film camera before, which was the Contax G1, which I regrettably sold actually, but I don't think I had it for a long enough time to really kind of get used to that rangefinder. I think the waist level viewfinder is a bit tricky to get used to, but once you do get used to it, it does work to your advantage when shooting things like portraits. It gives you that different kind of perspective that I quite liked. Also, the amazing clarity of the viewfinder allowed you to see what the image was going to come out like. I definitely purchased the RZ67 to shoot more portraits. I was attracted to the bellows focusing system, which allows you to focus very close to your subject, probably as close as you would like, making it ideal for portraits without needing like a macro lens. While I won't go into comparisons, it's pretty good compared to the Mamiya 7. The Mamiya 7 only focuses up to 1 meter, which can be quite restricting when shooting some portraits. I shot some portraits with my good friend Daniel.
Yeah. Alright.
First shot here.
What's that?
Are we shooting here?
We'll go with that black. I don't even know what they're called. It's that stuff over there.
I was amazed with the kind of tack sharpness of the images that came out. It definitely tested my ability to use the bellows focus system. Also, as the day got later, there was less light available, and I was having to use low shutter speeds, probably lower than 1/25, and some of those shots came out with a bit of motion blur. So I'd say like my advice to shooting with the RZ would be stay above 1/25. I was using the Mamiya 90mm f3.5 lens, which translates to about 35mm focal length when comparing to a 35mm camera. This is the focal length I tend to stick towards, just because it's good for landscape shots while still being tight enough for portraits as well. And also it's quite easy to shoot full body portraits on it as well. The Mamiya glass is super impressive. Even though I wasn't getting high-res scans, these are still coming out really sharp. I took the RZ67 to the Botanical Gardens in Brisbane just to test it in like difficult lighting situations and see how it held up. I was really impressed with the dynamic range of the images, the way it was able to like hold up the highlights without overexposing them, and also keep the detail in the shadows. Although I only make subtle adjustments when editing film, I found it was really easy to kind of make those small adjustments because of the dynamic range of the images. I think another reason I wanted to move into medium format photography was because I plan to produce some prints in the future. And I think with the larger negative size, it will be able to produce high quality images for prints. I've only shot with Portra 160 and Portra 400 on this camera so far. I really like the natural tones that came out of the shots and also the fine grain. Overall, I'm super happy with the RZ67. I think it's a great camera. Although the ergonomics aren't really made for handheld, I feel like I'm going to push through that to keep producing the good results that I'm getting from it. I'm going to take it traveling for a few days. It'd be interesting to see if the weight of the camera is going to hinder me from taking it out more often. I don't think it will be a problem just because I'm sort of used to lugging around heavy equipment for work. For this trip, I'm only going to be shooting film, so it'd be interesting to see the outcome when you focus on one format. Thanks for watching. Make sure to check out my Instagram for more of my film photography, and make sure to subscribe if you've been enjoying my videos too.